doing donning and doffing of PPE. So we want to make sure you're properly wearing your PPE, because that can end up killing us if we don't wear it properly. Right? So again, these policies is the training policy shall include annual review of members' competence in thermal imaging, technology, operation, application, use, limitations, and care and maintenance. You guys are going to get all that tonight in this. The hands-on will come when we do the burn, which is your practical evolution. And then training and evaluation documentation shall be maintained by your AHA. Again, Kevin, as you said, and I had that sheet that went around, make sure you guys, and I got a letter, that you guys file it. Yep. So if anybody comes in and checks, you've had the classroom education. Yep. And then the training program shall include both individual and crew training. When they say crew training, like for us in Canville, what we're doing is we're doing the phase 1, phase 2. We've already done phase 1. We're doing the phase 2, and then phase 3, we're going to do live fire probably up at Vestal. We're going to do that up there. I don't know if you guys go there or not.
We have. It's been a few years.
Yeah, yeah. We haven't used it in a while either. I'm not a big fan of the Vestal burn building because it's very, very small. I like the Academy. But again, we're going to take our guys there just so we can see, they can see with the thermal imaging camera. That's what we're doing the live fire for, so they can see with the thermal imaging camera. So here's your standards. Members shall be provided with thermal imaging training and education before being permitted to operate TICs per the AHJ. So many times Andy Starn says when he goes all over, he's been to every state in this country. He just came back from, I think it was Spain, I think he was in Poland too, he might have been. And people will buy cameras, say, here you go, put them on the truck. No training, no nothing. They say, hey, we got brand new thermal imaging cameras, go ahead and put them on the apparatus. Yeah, you can turn it on. Yeah. What are you looking at? You know what I'm saying? So, again, they need to be trained. Before new or unfamiliar thermal imagers are placed into service, training and education related to those imagers shall be provided for all affected members. When I got our brand new SEEK decision-making TIC, it did not go on the apparatus until I held training, had it put in everybody's hands, and we went through the different modes so they understood it before I put it on the apparatus. And then you should be provided with classroom education, which you're doing, and then hands-on familiarization with that Max Firebox, which you guys will love seeing that. So, again, this is reiterating classroom, small scale prop, which we're going to do, and then you're going to do it with your cameras, and then you're going to see other cameras so you can see the difference. And then again, you want to incorporate that training and any kind of fireground training and programs. If you notice how he's holding that thermal imaging camera, that's called the gangster grip. That's what you want to use when you're looking down a hallway. What you want to do is take that camera, turn it sideways. So what's happening now is, remember I said vertical, horizontal? With this, you're getting vertical. Once you do this, you're going to see from floor to ceiling. So when you guys are going interior, you get to the doorway, first look with the naked eye, see what you can see. You probably ain't going to see much. Right. And then put it in, scan it, see what you got. Always scan low to medium to high. Because if you put this up too high, what's going to happen is, it's going to, they call it white out, but it's not white out. This, you have to wipe this out every so often because it gets fogged up with moisture, sure, yeah, particulates, and so forth. Yeah. So again, this is the gangster grip. The one thing we try to teach firefighters is when you're using this, take your scan and bring it down, okay? However you guys attach this. I just ordered 4 straps so they can put it over their head like a radio strap. It's hanging down. They can pull it up. They can do the look, whether it be like the pistol grip or the gangster grip. Once they're done looking, they put it down. Because if you continue to look at it as you're moving, you're going to get yourself lost into story. So that's the gangster grip. This is Chief Starnes.
Welcome to Thermal Imaging 101. We're going to talk about over-reliance on technology. A lot of firefighters today are skeptical about using a thermal imaging camera because they've seen firefighters over-rely on the camera, stare at the camera too long, and actually slow down the search. What we want to share with you today is actual data and how the camera should be used. If you talk to anyone in the military, they train with their night vision and infrared constantly. They don't take it away from them when they go attack the enemy. When they talk to a sniper who looks through a scope and takes a shot at the enemy, he doesn't close his eyes and take the scope away. He uses everything he or she has for technology and training to make a difference for us. So the one device that allows us to see the layout, see where the fire is, and do that more efficiently is left on the camera or left on the charger of the truck 50% of the time. Now you're telling me we save lives and property for a living, that we're going to leave the one device on the truck that allows us to do so because we're not properly trained or understand it in the charger because I don't want to rely on technology. How many times has your cell phone failed you? How many times has your car failed you? How many times has any piece of mechanical electronic equipment failed you? Have you stopped using it? No, because you want that benefit. The citizen deserves that benefit, and we need to get past those failures and understand it's a training and education issue. And if we use this properly and don't over-rely on it and simply show the firefighter what we need them to do and put the device down and move with purpose, then we won't have this in front of our face. We won't have tunnel vision, and we won't be scooting across the floor staring at the camera like a video game. We'll be using this like the military does, and that's called intelligently aggressive, folks. Understand what you're using as a force multiplier, and if we use it properly, we'll move with purpose, we'll find the fire faster, we'll find the victim faster, and we'll do our job better than we ever have before. But we'll only do that if we invest in training and education. When I close this video today, the challenge I'm going to leave with you is ask any senior firefighter how much training they've had on this device. And reply to the video with your answer. And you'll be surprised that they've had little to none, where a trained thermographer in the industry has to have at least 32 hours. And they don't run into burning buildings for a living. You do. You owe it to the public, to your family, and to your firefighters to learn how to use these. And we're making that possible, free and easy for you. You have no reason not to. Make sure we fulfill that commitment, stay intelligently aggressive, and fight this problem with awareness and education, not with complacency. Thanks.
Okay, so the Flare K2, this is your color temperature scale. So from 0 to 300 degrees, you're not going to get any colorization. You're going to get grayscale is what we call it. From 300 to 500 degrees, you'll see yellow. 600 to 800, you're going to see orange. And then 800 to 1200 is red. So as you see here, you have your yellow, you have your orange, and you have your red. So this here, you guys can put somewhere. So you got, because I don't expect you guys to memorize that, but this way, if you guys have it somewhere where your crew sees it. So basically, what they're showing here is, you go in, you throw your camera up, and you're seeing the colorization. Again, I want you to stay away from the spot temperature, because that spot temperature, you're only getting, see where he's got here? That is only pointing right at this, so you're going to get that. But you're actually going to be higher than probably 932 degrees. You got your yellow, so it's showing you as you're looking through the camera where your high heat is, where you want to penetrate putting that water stream. So kind of take that spot temperature out of your mind and look at your colorization. So if you put those somewhere so you guys have, so your crew understands it. So again, understanding color palettes. The Safe Attack Pro, which we have, our colorization begins at 302, and then this is ours. 0 to 301 is grayscale, 302 to 599 is yellow, 600 to 79 is orange, and 800 to 1022. Every camera is going to be different because the manufacturers, they decide what colorization at what temperature, okay? So that's yours that you guys, for your camera, that's your colorization. Here's the max firebox that you'll see. Here's your low sensitivity. So when you point inside, it's telling you the different colors and so forth. Again, you want to stay away from the spot temperature. The emissivity we'll talk about when we do the live fire, because what we'll show you is you'll have this fire going in here, you'll have it 800, 900 degrees. If you point your camera at here, you have about 100 and some degrees. That's why it's important. Any kind of shiny objects, like if you go in the kitchen or something, you're going to get the reflection back off of that camera, so you're not going to get a true temperature reading. Okay? And we'll show you that when we do the live fire part of it. So the danger of the spot temperature, again, many firefighters are unaware of the danger of temperatures inaccuracies. Fire service takes the spot temperature is off plus or minus 7.2 degrees before usage. It can be hundreds of degrees off from the actual temperature due to the variables outside of the firefighter's control of the scope. So again, that's why we don't want you using the spot temperature. NFPA 1801 in 2021, they removed the spot temperature from TI Basic, but kept it in TI Basic Plus, due to the fact they had 3 line of duty desks where the one firefighter went in and says, we have high heat, but we only have 170 something degrees. If you're feeling high heat in the RPPE today, you're well over 300 degrees, okay? But they went by reading that spot temperature instead of looking at colorization. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? So they didn't even bother to look at colorization. So that's why NFPA took them off any new cameras from 2021 to current. The spot temperature is taken off on TI Basic. Your TI Basic, when you turn these on, will show 300 degrees on your camera. So like here, if you look at this here, look at your colors. Look at the spot temperatures showing. What's happening is, this was hitting the back of a burn room, the concrete wall, and that's the temperature that they were getting. So that's why we don't want firefighters saying, yeah, Chief, I got 172 degrees in here. And yet I got yellow, orange, and red temperatures in there in that fire. So teach your guys, make sure when you're sending them in, especially you guys that are the chiefs or the officers, read your colorization. Don't read the spot temperature. So, Andy Starnes did a fire training survey. He calls the 3 U's: unaware, unable, or unwilling. They were unaware of the high and low sensitivity. People don't know what the difference is of the high and low sensitivity. I explained that to you already. High sensitivity is from 0 to 300 degrees. Low sensitivity is once it gets over 300, that little green triangle shows up into your camera. That means I got to do something quick. Unaware grayscale convection currents as a threat. We're going to show you videos of that coming up. You'll be amazed when you see these. Unaware of the importance of wiping the lens. Again, so what you need to do is every so often when you're in interior, take your non-dominant glove hand and just wipe this off. You're not going to hurt it, you're not going to scratch it. They're designed that way. Take your glove and get this wiped up, because what's going to happen is when you get in a high moisture, how many times you guys been interior and your mask fogs up? Same thing with this. So firefighters like, oh, this thing doesn't work. I can't see nothing. Right. They don't wipe the lens. So when you wipe your, and hopefully you're wiping it with the back of your glove, not the front. You wipe it with the back, because at what temperature do you think your mask starts to soften at? Anybody?
150, 200,
290. Think about the fires that we're going in today. So the reason we teach firefighters to use the back of the hand and not this, because when you do this, sometimes you end up pulling that mask off. Okay? So that's why it's important. You need to look at that colorization so you know what temperature you're in. Because if it starts to soften at 290 and it fails at 356, you got to make sure you got that heat down. Unaware of thermal patterns recognition. Unaware when their tick displays colorization. We just talked about that for your camera. 302 is when, or 300 is when it starts colorization. You start getting yellow, orange, and then red. Unaware of heat transfers and flow path identification. We're going to talk about that, show you with your convection currents. And then unaware of the importance of a tick use in size up. We should be using a thermal imaging camera every time we do get on scene and we do a size up. We should be using a thermal imaging camera. You're really not going to see much with your guys because you won't see any colorization until 302. That's why I highly encourage you. I paid just under $1,200 for this. To me, I love it. It's it was well worth me spending the money. And like I said, I just bought 2 for our fast attack vehicles. But those are nice to have, especially if you're give one to the chiefs or chief officers, so you're scanning, they can see. Unaware of accurate information regarding fire attack and the importance of cooling the environment. Okay. So again, we're just talking about why they remove the spot temperature. Now I want you to watch this. These are convection currents. The nozzle's closed. Now we sprayed water on it, the convection currents went away. Closed it, Those convection currents that are coming out is what we call thermal rebound. Right? Those are things that we need to pay attention to. Are you going to see those convection currents without a camera? So if you're going down the hallway, and you scan and you see that, you can say, if you're on the knob and he's your backup, to your right, second door on the right, hit it high. All right, start knocking those convection currents out. That's why it's important to have that thermal imaging camera with you. Here's another good one.
Convection currents indicate severity, location, and the direction the fire is traveling from hot to cold. We can locate the fire and isolate it. In the absence of convection, we use colorization of the thermal layer. And then
Look at that red.
Convection, we can locate it faster, easier for
Look
cooling.
at them convection currents.
We use this to stay intelligent.
And this is in survey
to
mode.
isolate and work behind that closed door back towards the area that we are now protected from. By using this technique, we can locate the fire faster, and we can move towards those areas that our victims may be located, and we can get our search done faster under conditions, even without a hose line, by simply closing the door.
Here's another good one. Now this is a basement fire. This is a controlled burn. This isn't a burn building or wherever they're at. But look at those convection currents coming out of there. Now watch this. This is the stairs going down to the basement. And we all know when you're going down that basement, we're going right down the chimney. See how you can see that hose with that camera? Look at that heat coming out of there. So again, you want to cool that down before you make the transition down. You want to constantly keep flowing water. And what's nice is, if you could have 3 crew members on the hose line, we're all short-handed. You could have your hose guy, your nozzle guy, your backup, and then someone with a camera. I get it, you don't, but if you have 2, at least the backup firefighter is carrying that thermal imaging camera, telling me, Kevin, hit it high, hit it low, wherever the hit it at. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about thermal rebound. There's no sound to it. So, he's hitting it. Watch how fast this comes back. It's coming back at it. So what happens is, where you get thermal rebound is the firefighters are hitting it, but they're shutting the nozzle down too quick. And they're not paying attention. And that thermal rebound is coming right back at them. So you got to constantly be hitting that heat with the nozzle. That's called thermal rebound. Here's another good one. Look at those convection currents coming off. Look at all that heat up there. So again, you want to hit that, you want to hit that heat, you want to hit that convection curve, because you want to knock this heat back to grayscale is what you want to hit, what you want to do. Now you see some red in there. This camera's in TI Basic. Get the point there. Now this is a good one here too.
You run up that set of stairs, grab my daughter, and bring her back down the stairs you just kicked.